Hi everyone, I'm Serious. This video I will correct information about the evolution of Shin Godzilla. Shin Godzilla can evolve to 8th form. I can confirm that this is completely false information. Okay, first I will show once again the 8 evolutionary forms of Shin Godzilla. The first 4 forms are clear when watching movies. These 4 forms are definitely accurate and official. Now we talk about the following fictional forms. 5th form, acquired flight ability. Star division without limit to eventually cover the whole of Earth. Divided forms may shrink in size and form a legion. Become immune to the Yashiori plane. Lose algesia, sensitivity to pain and emotions. Self-generation of a completed form from a tiny fragment of the body. 6th form, overcoming requirements of wealth and water to survive. We achieve cell energy productions, achieving limitless nuclear fusions and overcome energy problems. Regeneration of the mouth and teeth. Will eventually lose the organs. Will eventually invade outer space and reach other planets. 7th form, contains a small universe within its body, synthesizing any material and elements at will and make them its own. Adapt to host environments of any planets. 8th form, transcending physical law and reaching the level of God and immortality. In fact, Shin Godzilla has 8 forms that have been widely circulated in Japan since the end of 2017. However, it is only a fabrication, exaggeration, fiction to create fame. Even so far, still many Japanese think that this information is true. This information is not only exaggerated from the Art of Shin Godzilla book, but also from the Nikkei Science December 2016 issues magazine. Even a large, reputable Wikipedia website like Gozipedia had posted about 8 forms of Shin Godzilla. The content was the same as I mentioned earlier. They corrected it quickly after some time, erasing information about these 8 forms. However, this fact proves that many people were confused about these issues. The movie Shin Godzilla was a great success. Based on real science, Hideaki Anno has created a work of fiction called Godzilla, and it is appropriate to evaluate his different evolutions as a first-class science fiction work. First, I will give a few information about this Nikkei Science magazine. The December 2016 issue of Nikkei Science was released in December 2016 and detailed an alternative continuity where Shin Godzilla continued to evolve while real-life scientists were solving the mystery of the film. Nikkei Science is a popular science magazine that delivers the latest topics of science, is broadly and interestingly from a global perspective. This magazine mentioned information about Shin Godzilla, written by 5 Japanese authors: Nakajima, Nananuma, Matsumoto, Fuzikura, and Mitani. Nakajima is the editor-in-chief of Nikkei Science. Naganuma is a professor at the University of Hiroshima. His specialty is biological and marine biology, mainly with regards to extreme environments such as the deep sea, earth, polar, desert, mountainous regions, etc. He cooperated in the production of Shin Godzilla. Matsumoto is associate professor at the Tokyo Institute of Technology. His specialty is radiation biology. He is studying the action and effect of radiation on the living body outright, and the reaction and response to the radiation at the molecular level. He also cooperated in the production of Shin Godzilla. Fuzikura is a senior researcher, marine biodiversity research field of the Japan Ocean Research and Development Organization. His specialty is to study the diversity and ecology of deep-water biological ecology, especially the deep-water chemical synthesis ecosystem. Mitani is a professor at the University of Tsukuba, engineering field of the information system of the graduate system. He collaborated on the origami with folding bellows originated in and was featured in Shin Godzilla. His specialty is CG and digital manufacturing. Generally, these 5 were highly skilled, and they made some predictions about Shin's next films. Just their own predictions, guys, not official. The truth is that I still can't read the Nikkei Science December 2016 issue so far, because it was written entirely in Japanese. But after self-study, I also got to know the content mentioned therein. It is confirmed that Shin Godzilla's 6th, 7th, 8th forms and 5th form's specific powers are fake. All of them are flat-out lies. First, the 3 scientists, Naganuma, Matsumoto, and Fujikura surely cooperated in the production of Shin Godzilla, but they are just external advisors, not the internal staff of Toho. The 5th form was officially confirmed to be small humanoid Godzillas on its tail, but the explanation beyond its ability was wrong, meaning it was exaggerated. The problem is Shin Godzilla's 6th, 7th, 8th forms are fake. The reason is quite simple. No such writing on Nikkei Science. So future Shin Godzilla evolution lost on its reliability at this point. It's quite easy to tell by page citations. Naganuma's career, page 47. Matsumoto's career, page 49. Fujikura's career, page 53. There were no 7th and 8th forms information in the whole topics. Actually, page 52 to 53 is the hypothesis by Fujikura on Shinji's 5th forms. Again, just hypothesis. Page 54 to 59 are the topic on origami in Shin Godzilla, have nothing to do with evolutionary stages. A bit of information about forms 5 and 6 mentioned in the journal is, in the following 5th form, sharp teeth, a tough jaw, and even a mouth may be lost. Page 52. From the 4th form, which looks like a dinosaur, to the 5th form, which have become smaller and colonized like humans and birds. Further progresses into an unknown 6th form, jumps out into space, and makes a statement, aiming for a new celestial body to disperse. In addition to that, Fujikura stated that the 5th form Godzilla might lose its teeth and jaw. This description is contradicting the movie's appearance of the 5th form G-Human without the sharp teeth. Why? Because Fujikura was not the internal staff of Toho or Kara Studio, he was just an advisor. Thus we have verified from the documental aspects that the 6th, 7th, 8th form G and the specific ability of the 5th form are on fake. These hearsay were made up in Japan to coincide with terrestrial television broadcasts of Shin Godzilla around November 12, 2017. In a nutshell, Nikkei Science magazine says some predictions about the 5th and 6th form of Shin Godzilla, but only the scientists saw predictions, not the official information. Meaning whether the movie Shin Godzilla Part 2 is released, its subsequent forms may still be completely different from the predictions. By the way, I will tell you more about the other predictions from the characters in the movie for you to know more. That is what the characters have said in the movie. Shin Godzilla has surpassed anything human could have imagined. Possessing 8 times the genetic information of human being, Godzilla is the most evolved creature on the planet. Godzilla has the ability to mutate his DNA at will to adapt to any situation without passing generations. Shin Godzilla is considered the embodiment of the god. How Godzilla reproduces can regenerate the body from the dorsal plate that it dropped. Godzilla can create an army to quickly occupy the earth. Godzilla can fly across the continent. Shin Godzilla exists because of radioactive material, but does not eat radioactive substances orally. Godzilla's cells were capable of converting air and water into a radioactive isotope that provided him with energy. Shin Godzilla is a creature with infinite potential. However, the movie Shin Godzilla Part 2, according to my research, will most likely not be made for many reasons. One of them is this Godzilla has gone too far compared to other versions of Godzilla. Its strange abilities, if continued, it is difficult for people to cope. It is difficult to create an end to the second part of the film, so we will most likely never know what the true limit of Shin Godzilla will be. In a nutshell, The 5th form to the 8th form of Shin Godzilla are just fictional information. The 5th and 6th forms are predicted in Nikkei science, but they are only predictions and hypotheses, and they are not exaggerated in terms of capabilities as rumored. Actually, Shin Godzilla is about to evolve into the 5th form, but it has been frozen before the completion of this form, so we don't know the true powers of the 5th form. Thus, when analyzing its combat capabilities, we will only use the 4th form Shinji. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe, turn on the notification bell to not miss new video. Now goodbye and see you again.